Bonjour, est-ce que vous désirez le français en français ou en anglais?
Anglais.
Okay, each team has 2 minutes to present its case to the judges. I will show a board for the spending 5 last 2 minutes and last 30 seconds of the presentation. During the last 10 seconds of the speech, I will indicate by means of my 2 hands the number of remaining seconds. A team not having ended its presentation after 20 minutes will be stopped to move on to the period of questions. A period of questions of a maximum duration of 5 minutes is assigned to the jury at the end of the presentation. I would like to remind to each judge that it's mandatory to ask at least 1 question during this period. I will invite the judges to introduce themselves.
Hi, I'm Pascal Heller. I'm director for Metro for all the warehouse of produce, dairy, and fish for Montreal.
Hey guys, I'm Darrell. I'm the warehouse operations projects manager in Central.
Hi, I'm Denis Gastonvier, feed manager for the province of Quebec for La Breweries.
Magali Boulagoudi, people specialist in Montreal, and I also have a background in the logistics department.
Tout bon gestionnaire sait bien que la seule chose meilleure qu'une bonne Budweiser bien froide, c'est un système opérationnel qui est efficace et sans Cher membre exécutif, merci d'abord d'être là et d'écouter ce que nous avons à vous proposer aujourd'hui. Je suis accompagné de Gabriel Pope ainsi que Colin Donaille. Je m'appelle Luc Bouchard-Lancette et nous sommes LCG Consulting. Aujourd'hui, nous allons d'abord présenter la situation de notre analyse. Par la suite, nous allons présenter quelques alternatives qui s'offrent à vous pour votre problème. Par la suite, nous allons faire une recommandation ainsi que la justifier avec, de façon qualitative et quantitative pour finalement conclure sur quelques faits divers pour bien conclure. La présentation se déroulera en anglais. Cependant, si vous avez quelques questions que ce soit à la fin, vous pouvez la poser de la langue que vous voulez. Il n'y aura pas de problème avec ça.
Okay, so we'll get started today with the situational analysis. Today in the beer industry in Quebec, we see a lot of exciting things going on. So first and foremost, recently we've seen a shift within the market towards more craft beer and different types of beer which aren't being manufactured by large brands such as Labatt. That said, Labatt is still a huge company and has lots of things to be excited about in Quebec. Even if we're seeing beer sales decreasing, there's plenty of opportunity in this market, especially to streamline operations. We see Labatt distributing to a number of different actors within Montreal. So Labatt would be shipping beer out to bars and restaurants, as well as sort of intermediary sellers, such as supermarkets and day hunters in Quebec, as well as the Société Agricole de Quebec, the SAQ. Within Quebec, Labatt has a lot of exciting things going on with its clientele. So it's definitely one of the more recognized brands and has very significant brand equity. Along with that, it is recognized as a leader by essentially all players in Quebec as a company that it would be tough to not do business with. So really Labatt has partnerships with lots of players in the market today. With that, and with Quebec's geographic size, the customers and the entities that Labatt is shipping product to are distributed throughout Quebec. So there would be concentrations within large urban areas, but we would also see the distribution channels would have to extend out all over Quebec. So there's lots of considerations you have to keep in mind with that going forward. So looking at through this case, we identified some primary issues and some secondary issues. So the main problems that Labatt is facing today would be delivery delays, costs with their trucking, and as well as sort of their key performance indicators and how they're evaluating them. So right now, starting off with delivery delays, Labatt is looking to obviously not have delays when they're delivering to anybody. And so with that, the easiest way that we could identify to reduce delivery delays would be to incentivize people they're distributing to not or to unload the goods themselves. looking at the cost of trucks, we saw that there are a lot of concerns with changing technology, with electric vehicles entering the market, particularly Tesla, as well as fuel costs, right, which sort of goes hand in hand with the electric vehicle considerations. We're also looking at key performance indicators, and so Labatt has been evaluating its success in the past, but we're looking to streamline that process. Currently, it's very condensed on sort of the warehouse director to spend a whole day every week evaluating how the week is going. So we're looking today to really streamline that process and improve on it. So looking at the secondary issues now, then we identified two core ones. So particularly the seasonality of beer sales, as well as sort of human resource concerns. So beer sales are not consistent, people don't always buy. So there's things such as seasonal concerns in that there are certain months where more people buy, the summer months as well as December, where we're identified to us these seasons, and then there would also be sort of some valley seasons through the winter, January through March. We also identified sort of within each month, there seems to be a concentration of sales in the last week, which is not ideal from an operational standpoint. We would prefer to have that all evened out. So that's something we'll be looking at today. As well as human resources concerns, Labatt deals with unions as well as sort of making sure that employees are happy and retaining them. Currently, the beverage industry is competitive in terms of employers retaining their employees. So we're looking to do that today.
So with these issues that Colin has outlined, alternatives that we have thought of is one, to buy the trucks and have our current unloading program where we offer rebates to customers who choose to unload. Also, we choose to outsource delivery, and then we have our own recommendation, driving efficiency. What we did think that was the priority for Labatt was to consider the reduction of delivery delays, reduction in fuel and maintenance costs, and also to reduce the environmental impact that Labatt has. So with this, it's obvious that our driving efficiency strategy, which we will show later on, is what has proved to be most effective. So with this, we are proud to have our opportunity statement, which is by implementing a new incentives program, adjusting our truck rental strategy, and rebalancing our scorecard. We believe that driving efficiency will be able to allow Labatt to optimize its delivery process and also optimize the fleet and streamline their KPI evaluation to keep good things brewing. So with that, our recommendation overview is we took our primary three problems that we've identified, which is we first off start off with driving incentives. So currently we are incentivizing customers by giving them equivalent of 2 times of what they paid last year, and have that reduction in costs as an incentive for them to unload the beers themselves, which gives us a reduction in our unloading time. And instead, we have introduced a 3-tier program that will tackle that. Second of all, driving green, we took the problem of, since we're transitioning into new technology for our trucks and we want to keep up with that with the Tesla option, we've decided to have a new rental strategy in order to combat that. And lastly, with driving performance, given that we're having problems with KPI logging, we believe that by decentralizing it, the process, and also updating our balanced scorecard to reflect environmental impact, will allow Labatt to more effectively drive its performance.
So looking first at its driving incentive, or the driving incentive component of our recommendation, we're essentially shifting the incentives that are currently in place to have customers unload their own beer. So what customers unloading their beer reduces the delivery time of Labatt's drivers by about a quarter. So it goes from, on average, being just over an hour probably to deliver to 20 minutes. So there's significant cost savings to be had. So our recommendation is to have a tiered incentive program where if a customer orders a certain number of cases of $70, $110, or $50, we would immediately give them a cashback offering. So what this is actually the cost savings that Labatt would save by not having to have their driver unload the truck, so that labor savings at these levels would be translated into a cashback. So essentially what this is sort of, it's capital neutral, so Labatt won't be losing money. And if somebody were to order, say, 130 cases, there would actually be a slight profit for Labatt. So this is a significant shift from what was currently being done, where capital is being lost to the client. The current situation, as my colleague Gabrielle mentioned, was that that as an incentive to unload your own beer, you were given 2 years of beer, which is a lot. And so that's very capital intensive. And this actually would enable Labatt to potentially edge out sales by having people reach for the next year and eliminate those capital losses. And a cool add-on to this would actually be that we would be able to sort of reduce the transportation costs that Labatt is also paying, potentially by, if people were to increase their orders to reach the next year, they might order less frequently and order more beer. And that could have positive environmental effects, which is really in line with what we'll talk about next with our driving green strategy.
So with driving green, our first consideration was whether we should buy the trucks or rent the trucks for now. And what really made our decision was the fact that Tesla was soon releasing their green efficient trucks, and therefore we want to hold off on buying. So therefore, our first one is that we're, with the shift of electric vehicles, we want to prolong and extend our life of the current trucks, which will also provide, it is proven that longer trucks with longer lives end up having fewer damages in the future. So we definitely want to extend the lives of the current trucks and start renting renting our trucks instead of buying them, and wait to transition into the Tesla trucks. In addition, with the renting, we do want to account for the seasonality problem that we're currently having. In the winter seasons, given that only 50% of the trucks are in use, we do want to take into account, into consideration, how many trucks we're renting for those winter seasons and increasing them during the summer seasons. Another issue with the rental, so therefore, what we're going to do is phase 1, we'll be renting trucks from 2018 to 2023. And given that we are unsure about the maintenance costs and how Tesla is going to perform with these new trucks, we would also like to have a bargaining purchase option for a lot of the rental trucks we have now, in case the Tesla trucks do have higher maintenance costs than expected and proves to be ineffective for our plan. However, if by then we have deemed that it is effective, our 10-year-long rental strategy would be to eventually transition all into the Tesla vehicles.
The third part of our recommendation is a reshapement of the balance scorecard that you currently have. You were first monitoring the truckloads, the delivery as well, and the fuel saving, but we reshaped it in a new way, such to have other KPIs in place that are more specific and that at a glance can be better from a bottom-up approach, so that the director doesn't have to input all the data. The people under his or her supervision can input themselves. So basically, the first main KPI, lagging KPI, is the delivery, which will include the percentage of time delivery, as well as percentage participation in driving efficiency program, which will help us monitor who's taking it, who's is buying into it, and how much we can save with this. The second part is the usage rate. One thing that you mentioned was that some of your truck was not utilized because of the different warehouse throughout Quebec. So this can lead to improvement, and with a balance scorecard, you can very target which part of Quebec has an issue and see what you can do with it further on. And also maintenance costs that you can monitor. Another part of your corporate social responsibility, obviously, is environment, and you wanted to reduce the CO2 emissions, as well as the fuel reduction. So it's very good to track that as well, and employee well-being that was not present beforehand. So basically, a better performance measurement will allow Labatt to identify issues at the source. So, the implication of our strategy. First of all, the driving incentive program, we forecast an increase in sales from 1 to 5%, so basically between 5 million and 29 billion based on your current market sales. Second, the driving green program. So basically for the first 3 years, you will save on a yearly basis about $183,000 for the rental rather than buying. And also the extended trucks use saving will be of $83,000 because what we propose as well is to, rather than buy new trucks, extend the lifetime of your current trucks. Because even though they have 10 years old, they still, the trucks, I mean, they still have a usage, basically a 99% reliability, just as a new trucks. So there's no way to change up for nothing. And finally, the driving performance from the data input that will be done from a change management agent rather than by the director would be a yearly annual saving of $5,000. So basically for the 3 first years, there would be a cost saving with our plan of about $815,000.
So looking at the implementation now of our strategy, we would like to get going as soon as possible. So we would launch the driving efficiency campaign, the strategy with the 3 prongs, essentially now. So we'd be able to move, realign the incentive program and start implementing the truck rental strategy, as well as our KPI evaluation process, essentially within the next few months. In 2020, we would like to take a step back and sort of revisit with external consultants again to evaluate the feasibility of Tesla green vehicles. The reason we would do that is because so much is changing currently with in that space. Currently, there isn't really the infrastructure to be running Tesla trucks, and so in 2 years, we would have to seriously reevaluate whether or not that is a feasible way to move forward. In 2023, given that we got this sort of green light in 2020, that would ideally be sort of the timeline where we have transitioned to Tesla vehicles and move forward with greener, more environmentally friendly vehicles.
So the risk we've identified when we were coming up with the solution is that the fluctuations in fuel costs is quite significant. With that, we decided that exploring derivatives and futures and hedging our risk is a good way to mitigate those fluctuations in the cost. Second of all, another risk we have in our strategy is the unknown maintenance cost of Tesla's new green energy vehicles. Given that maintenance cost is a huge factor into Labatt's considerations, we definitely want to keep in mind what we will do if the maintenance costs are higher, and therefore, with our driving green strategy, we do have the intention of hiring external consultants to really go and revisit with the new information on what's best for Labatt moving forward. Or another mitigation method would be to use a rental program where we can rent the technology to ourselves through an SPE. The third risk is if there is less interest than expected in our incentives program, and in that case, we will mitigate that by increasing the discount with further analysis into the cost savings.
Donc, bien commencer pour bien finir. Notre programme qu'on a proposé, d'abord la première partie qui est le driving incentive, va non seulement réduire le nombre de délais en attente dans votre système, mais ça va aussi augmenter le nombre de ventes dans votre entreprise. Puis plus que les trucks vont être plus efficaces, il y a plus de gens qui vont pouvoir les utiliser. Notre deuxième partie de notre recommandation, Driving Green, va réduire la quantité d'essence que vous allez utiliser. Et non seulement augmenter l'impact environnemental de votre compagnie, qui est un aspect que vous donnez à cœur chez Laval. Puis finalement, notre troisième recommandation, qui est Driving Performance, va non seulement décentraliser votre balance scorecard d'un seul directeur, mais non seulement va aussi créer une perspective d'amélioration continue au sein de votre entreprise pour mener à terme les projets qui vont aider tout au long de la vie de l'entreprise. Donc, merci beaucoup pour votre écoute et nous ouvrons à toute question.
Thank you guys. With the new scorecard you presented to us, you have a new, let's say, we're focusing on the well-being of the employees, which is very important for us. But you're putting the employee motivation. Can you show us just what kind of KPI would be? What way will you measure our motivation from our employees?
It could be with a survey where you can ask online in an anonymous manner how happy your employee is at your company and ways that could be improved his or her happiness.
Furthermore, with the new Tesla vehicles, it's been shown that they will have impact on the driver's conditions in terms of how they will be able to stay in the lanes better. So we definitely also want to see how our drivers are feeling with the new vehicles that we're planning to implement in the future, and that would also be a key performance indicator in our scorecard.
You guys are showing a cost savings of $800,000 a year, and we have a $2.2 million budget. How am I going to buy these Teslas? Where am I putting them? How many am I going to buy a year? Or am I going to hit my 2025 CO2 emission target?
That's a very good question. Basically, we really wanted to wait for the industry to be implemented in Quebec before to move on that aspect. Basically, right now we recommend cost savings from different perspectives, but we will definitely be able to afford the Tesla by 2023, especially if you do a finance lease, which will give you the right of the truck afterwards.
In addition, our strategy really addresses in cost savings currently in order for us to afford the future Teslas. And the two places where we will get those cost savings is, first of all, with our driving incentives program. We plan to incentivize our customers to increase sales and buy more. So therefore, we do expect at least a 1 to 5% increase in revenue to cover the future rental costs. And also secondly, given we are planning to rent and be more aware of the seasonality effects and therefore rent less in the winter, we do hope to save more in rental costs now, and hopefully in the future when the Teslas come out with lower fuel costs and hopefully lower maintenance costs, that those our current cost savings should be able, from the strategy, to translate into the future transition into Tesla vehicles.
Okay, so would I abandon a 2025 CO2 reduction plan for an annual 2030 save? Because I'm not seeing any Teslas being purchased still in 2023, just if I understand this correctly. Are we thinking more long-term here?
So essentially the Tesla vehicles will be available in 2020, but we do want an adjustment period to see how stable it is and will it be good for Labatt by 2023. So however, to answer your question, given that it's available in 2020, we're not too sure within the costs and the maintenance of the vehicles yet. So at that point, we do hope to look more into it and see if that's most appropriate for Labatt.
From a business standpoint, from what I understand, Tesla actually has a history of not meeting the aggressive deadlines they set for themselves. So we want to be cautious before we dive head into electric vehicles, and so from our standpoint, it would be more responsible from a business standpoint to to make sure that the Tesla vehicles are really valuable for the company before investing heavily in it, and so that could potentially require pushing back the deadline, but definitely not losing sight of it and working to keep Labatt functioning, but in an environmentally responsible way.
Understand? Cool. How do you think employees will react to your driving incentives program, which is to give money to the customers because they're in their instead of themselves? And how do you mitigate that reaction, or how do you deal with that?
So definitely, I can't speak to whether or not Labatt employees enjoy the beer unloading process. I would expect that it's not the most enjoyable part of their day. So I would hope that by having the customer be incentivized to do that. So okay. So we hope that the employees will react positively to it.
Thank you. Same. Thank you.